Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2017 end of year budget review. 12 months ago, we were here and we set our financial goals regarding productivity and operational effectiveness. As I'm sure you're all aware, we've had a slightly quieter year than anticipated, and today I'll be going over how we performed in comparison to those budgeted objectives that we set for ourselves. The focus today, however, will be on breaking down and evaluating these variances from our targeted performance so that we can get a better understanding of why we have these differences. For convenience, I've got our budgeted figures for the year, so our revenue, costs, and expected production. If we analyse these costs here, our planned expenditure was for $588,000 in our raw materials, and we expected labour costs to be around the $260,000 mark. When we compare these with our actual results, you can see that the steep decline in the number of units sold has had a severe impact on our total revenues. But in addition to this, you'll see that our expenses are also considerably higher than what we had anticipated, and this has effectively reduced our overall operating profit by $238,000. Whilst we could conduct our initial assessment based upon purely these results here, if we break down the impact that unit production and sales volume had on our overall performance, and we can currently analyse the effect of pricing and efficiency in attributing to these decreased profits, we can better understand what the independent effect of each of these was. So if you have a look at the flexible budget that I've produced here, the flexible budget column in between our actual and our budgeted results represents what our revenues, costs, and overall profit would have been if we had adhered to those expected prices based upon the actual quantity of output that we produced. What this allows us to do is independently analyse the effect of pricing and volume independent of each other in producing these actual results. I've annotated text in yellow to signify those favourable variances. Purely these come from just a decreased consumption in the level of materials. You'll see the large majority of these are highlighted in blue though, which represent unfavourable variances, and these are what we're going to be looking at today. As you see above, we had a bit of a change to our suppliers. We managed to decrease the cost of metal by $1 per kilogram. However, due to union pressure, we've had to increase the wage that we paid staff by $2 per hour. And in addition to this, we upped the quality of the glass used in producing our desk, and this resulted in an extra $2 per unit purchased in total costs. You'll see that despite this reduction in costs, there is still a $167,000 decrease in overall operating profit. So when we analyse this, we can bring this down to the $5 decrease in sales price and the decrease in the total number of units sold, and you'll see that the $27,000 difference pales in comparison to the impact that a decrease in units sold had on our total revenues. If we use a similar concept, we can isolate the price and the consumption of our materials in this same way. We can break down budgeted costs of materials and labour so that we can identify which of these areas really require our attention more. If we look at the amount of the effective pricing rather on metals, theoretically we should have saved costs by up to $37,000. But when we combine this with the inefficiency of being 7,500 kilograms over what we budgeted using for the period, you'll see that this in effect resulted in an $82,000 increase to our cost, which cancels out this cost saving entirely. If we continue on and we have a look at the effect that price and efficiency had on our glass and our labour, you'll see that much of the increase to our cost of glass purchases came from inefficient use as opposed to the increase in price. And what this means is that we need to really focus on why it was that we had such a high amount of wastage. In effect, what stems from these is the $1,500 hour increase in the amount of labour needed to produce these desks. And when we combine this with the $2 increase in pay rise, this results in the single highest difference in costs compared to our budgeted results. So when we take this separation of price from volume, we can see that in aspiring to reduce our total variable costs, we sacrifice quality, which in effect rendered thousands of kilograms of metal useless in our production. And this has had a flow-on effect to all of our other departments. We've had to spend more hours fixing these mistakes. We had more half-finished tables rendered useless, which meant more glass was wasted. So we can see that consumption and inefficiency are undoubtedly linked. So my conducive suggestion for rectifying this is to revert back to our original supplier of metals and instead introducing a bonus scheme for our employees, specifically targeting meeting key performance indicators in regards to adhering to the 5 kilogram 1 glass unit per table restrictions that we set ourselves, and keeping to that 2 hour per desk requirement. This should have the overall effect of not only providing an incentive to increase efficiency, but also decreasing the amount of hours needed whilst simultaneously reducing our overall wastage. As our unit sales were considerably lower, I suggest that we conduct a trial basis marketing campaign specifically targeting those that had demographic settings in which we performed much poorer than anticipated. If anybody's got any questions, I'll take those now.